Hi, this is Ellen Stumbo from ellenstumbo.com.
And this is Erin Lorraine, and you are at episode 30 of the Unexceptional Moms podcast.
And today we're going to be talking about kids who wonder, the runners, the elopers, and what we can do about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I was going to mention the word elopement. It's commonly, the phrase that's used, but some people, of course, associate that with running off and getting married.
Right.
Rather than running off from their family.
Exactly. And some kids tend to do that, as the case of one of my kids.
Yes, and one of mine as well.
Yes.
So the reason we're doing this episode really is because while I've had experiences that I'll share, you very recently had a big scare.
I did. About 2 weeks ago, my daughter, who has Down syndrome, she took off. And what happened is Grandma was visiting, and we talked about going mini golfing. So she knew that the plan was to go mini golfing, but my husband took his mom to a store where she wanted to, buy something. And so we didn't all need to go to that. And Nicole was playing with her sister, and her sister wanted to get away from little sister. So she decided to go to the store with Dad and Grandma. And Nicole was really sad about it. She went to her room, and we thought that was that. But after a few minutes, and I don't know, I think it was probably 10 minutes, I realized I can't hear her anymore. I don't know where she is. So it became the calling her at the house, Nicole, where are you? Looking in places where sometimes she'll go and hide. My oldest daughter was with me, and I said, is Nicole with you? No, she's not. And then we came over and we saw that the door to the garage was partially open. And of course, I opened it immediately, and the garage door was open. Now, we both had heard the garage door, and we just thought that it had taken my husband a little bit longer to leave. So she actually took off shortly after Andy left, because I thought he had to arrange the seats in the van and get the wheelchair in the van. So that would take a little bit longer. Right. And I just thought it took him a little bit longer than usual because he could have been talking to his mom or something.
Well, and you thought she was in her room.
Yeah, and I thought Nicole was in her room. So at that point, with the garage door open, I realized she took off. And because of when I remembered the garage door being open, I thought, I can't, waste 1 minute. So I ran inside just to grab my phone, and I did call 911. And I was screaming her name, and so was Ellie. And it's one of those situations that if you go to the right and she went to the left, you made the wrong choice.
Precious minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we were yelling, and thankfully there were some neighbors in front of them, and I came running and I said, my daughter got out. Have you seen her? And at that point they recognized the panic because I'm almost, crying. And one of the ladies, thankfully she did say, she said, yeah, I saw her. She went that way. So she pointed to the right. So I knew at least to go to the right. And then 911, that's the call came through, and they said 911. And I had at least the mind to say, this is my name. This is my address. My child left the home. She has Down syndrome. I don't know where she is. We need to find her. This is my phone number. So we had some direction. We started running all over the neighborhood. I thought, should I get in the car to see if I can get her?
Right.
The neighbor thankfully did get in her car to drive around to see if she could find her. And as we're yelling and screaming, other neighbors were coming to say what's going on. And we're saying, we're looking for a little girl with Down syndrome. So at some point we did, as we're running down the street, I do see a little girl walking away from me, and I'm screaming her name, and there was a momentary pause, turns around, kept walking away, and I thought, okay, maybe that's not her. But someone who was closer to her was able to then yell for her some more, say, Nicole, are you Nicole? And then pointed at me, and when she saw me and Ellie, she ran to us. And as soon as we saw her, and I'm still on the phone with 911, and I said, I found her, I have her, she's with me, I'm bawling. And she was really scared too. And she said, I couldn't find home. So at some point she left. She recognized maybe it was not the best choice, but now she could not find her house anymore, and she didn't know how to get back. So she was really scared. We came back, and after we cried a lot and we hugged a lot and we cried again and we cried again, because it's terrifying to know
Yeah.
that the child is gone. She did say, I wanted to go mini golfing.
Mm.
So she thought they left without her. So she said, fine, I'll just go mini golfing too. So she thought she would take off and go mini golfing. And as you know, there are really tragic accidents that happen. You know, she could have been hit by a car. She could have been kidnapped. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. So in those precious moments, I thought, okay, we need to do something and we need to plan better. Now, she used to be really bad when she was little. It was like open space. She would go, 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 go. And when she was in kindergarten, it was in her IEP. And I was the mom who had the schedule, and I would go and park my car outside the school during recess time to make sure that my child would not elope, because that's how bad she was. Yes.
I remember.
She would wear a bright orange vest. And I remember the school saying, are you sure you want her to wear a vest? That's really going to make her stand out. And my response, like, good.
Yeah,
I
right.
want her to stand out, because if she takes off, I want every child, an adult, to see her and say, there goes Nicole.
Yeah.
So they can get her. Now, she did get much better. And it's one of those things that you think, okay, she's doing well. We don't have to worry about this. But the reality is that it is a reality for us.
Yeah.
And as you know, for some parents who have kids with disabilities or Down syndrome, sometimes the most concerning thing is that the running and the elopement.
Yes. Yeah. When Anya first came home, like you, we're kind of in a better place now, but you never let your guard down. But when Anya first came home, she was a runner in any situation, but especially if she knew the door was unlocked. And so we always, always, always kept our inner and outer door locked. And one day someone had come over and they left, and I did not lock the door, and I always do. And I went to put some laundry away, and I heard a door shut, and I thought that she had gone in her room. So after I got the laundry put away, I went, no Anya. And then I thought, well, maybe she's in a closet. Closets, no Anya. And then it hits me that I didn't lock the door. So I go running outside, like that panic.
Oh, yeah.
And thankfully, she had only gotten out to the driveway. Now, she was in her underwear.
Oh, no.
And she was dancing. So luckily, I found her before she got away, but that was terrifying. And then our other one was at a park. I went up a play structure with her to help her. She went down the slide. I quickly boogied myself down to catch her at the end. And like that, she was gone. And I was the crazy woman running through the park yelling, find the girl with Down syndrome. And it turns out that this park had two parts and there were bushes separating them. She had gone over to the second part and was sitting in a tunnel. Wow. And so it took us forever to find her. It was terrifying. So she's just a kid. I never take my eyes or hands off of her when we're out of the house.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, we can't stop being vigilant. You know, Nicole is 10. So when we go to the store, she doesn't want to be holding my hand all the time.
Right.
And she wants to have some independence, and she wants to look at the things she wants to look at. And that's a really hard line as a parent. How much independence can you give them? Because are they ready for that level of independence? Mm-hmm. Right. And
obviously for everyone, it's going to be different.
It's going to be different for every parent. And what really surprised me is when I posted that on Facebook, how many parents responded saying, that's happened to me. I've been there. And for parents who have wonders, you know, it happens in a split second.
Yes.
And as a parent, you blame yourself, because what was going through my head is, as soon as I heard that garage door, I should have checked to make sure it was Andy just leaving and not just assumed that it had taken him longer, right? So you start playing in your head, and there's that guilt, and it happens to everybody. It's just the reality.
Yeah.
You can be so careful, and it's that second that you turn to go and fold laundry or do the dishes, or put the garbage out, or answer the phone, you know, whatever it is, boom, they can be gone, right? So
the first line of defense, of course, that all of us as parents of elopers think of is prevention.
Right.
right? How do you stop it?
Yes. What can you do in order to prevent that from happening? So,
knowing that it still might not work.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Which I have to say, my daughter is not the first child that I hear about taking off to go try to find someone. So I had a friend, and this happened to them this last summer. She left in the morning to go try to find her dad as well. So the first thing they hear about are locks and alarms.
Locks and alarms, yep. So we have high up on all of our doors, just those little slide locks, you know what I'm talking about with the chains?
Yes.
Yeah. And I wondered how long that would last us, because the truth is eventually she'll figure out that she can push a chair over there and get up and unlock it. And while she does know she can do that, that just, by the time she got to the point that she would really do that, that desire to bolt every time the door was unlocked had really died down. So we still use them regularly. And my thought is, at this point, in the time it takes her to get a chair over there, get herself up and unlock her, I'm going to find her, you know.
And some locks that I also hear, not locks, but alarms that I hear a lot of parents get are the ones that you'll see sometimes at a store. So every time, you know, the door opens, you get the ding ding.
Yep.
Which, if you have a lot of people coming in and out of your house all the time, it might just be annoying. And at some point you stop listening to it.
That's,
But at the same time, if you don't have that happen all the time, it's a really good thing to have, because you're going to hear it. You're going to hear that, you know, ding dong, and at least you will know if you need to go check for it or not. And some of them, you do have the ability to turn them on or off at night. So I do also have a friend who turns them off during the day because there's a lot of coming in and out, but she turns them on at night because she has kids who sometimes at night decide, oh, I want to go to the store, or, you know, whatever.
And I would add, if your garage door is closed, don't assume that you don't have to lock or alarm the door to the garage, because my friend's daughter got up in the middle of the night, went out in the garage and drank something, and they ended up in the ER. So she didn't elope, you know, away from the home, but she got out at night still. So every door in the house, and I would say windows too, if you've got a kid who can access windows. Mine, really, that's not an issue for us, but.
Right. And I do know of stories of kids who have opened a window and left.
Yeah.
So that happens. I actually know of some kid with Down syndrome who left through the window, went to a neighbor's house, got in the house somehow with everybody sleeping, and was going through their DVDs because he knew that they had a movie he wanted to watch that he didn't have at home. So,
and you know, these kids are very smart when it comes to figuring out how to escape. When their desire is to get out, they will figure out a way out.
Right. So that's why locks and alarms are so important. And there are some locks that you can, you know, that can be more tricky locks or key locks that they would need a key in order to open those locks.
Pads, there's all kinds of things, which
for parents who have issues with their kids getting into the fridge or the pantry and they have to have locks, you know, on those, you know, for the fridge or the pantry, those locks can also work for your doors as well. I think they do. Okay, now I'm questioning myself, but those locks. Yes.
Okay, so what about outside of your home? Like, my first thought is, I know it's somewhat socially unacceptable, and we haven't done it, but sometimes you just have to do one of those little backpack leashes or a little wristband leash or something of that sort. We just opted for never take your hands off the child.
And we did have those cute little backpack leashes, and I didn't care what people
thought. I mean, when it's that or losing your child, yeah, who cares?
And she thought it was cute because it was a cute little pink puppy, you know, and then she had a little bit of, you know, she could walk on her own. Yep, there's those. Now for outside your home, you can get those videos that are motion sensor. So I mean, it's good if somebody even comes to your house and rings the doorbell. So as soon as they're motion, you know, they activate and they start recording, or you can see the video. So let's say that you have a salesperson come to your home, you can see that it's a salesperson, and you can decide whether you want to open the door or not. But if you have a child who elopes and now took off, that video is going to turn on right away. And even if you don't, let's say you didn't get to them right away, you could see where they're going.
What direction, like you were talking
you would
about.
turn right or left, like even if you have that little bit of a direction can be very helpful. And you can see maybe the state of mind, are they happy? Are they agitated? I think sometimes those visual cues can be a little bit helpful. But that works. I have a friend who does that, and she has caught her daughter, going out because she can see the video. So that's one thing you can do outside your home. You talked about a stop sign.
Yeah, I heard someone say that they put a stop sign on their front door to give that visual cue to their child that when they get to the door, they need to stop. And obviously that might not work for every child, but for some kids, that visual is very important and helpful. Mm-hmm. And of course, it could even be used in combination with other things, but teaching them early, and we discussed this a little bit too, words like danger and words that you might need to use, and stop would be one of them.
Right. And teaching them what that means, mm-hmm. and why you do it, for kids who understand why you do it. I think my daughter was just scared enough that she couldn't find home, but I think she was scared enough to see me so upset, mm-hmm. When I was crying. So, she has Down syndrome, so we tried to understand in ways that she could understand why it was dangerous, why I was scared, why I was crying. Mm-hmm. So it's been a week and a half since this happened. So she has come and she has said, I stay with you and Dad. I stay mm-hmm. with you and Dad, which means I'm not going to take off anymore.
Yeah.
Right, that's her phrase. I stay with you and Dan. So, yes. I mean, we're hoping that she will, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't worry, right? Because it could happen again.
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
Yes. So when I was, 911, I did think about maybe I should call the police department in our area and let them know.
Yes.
Hey, if you ever get a call from us, from this number, I have a child who elopes, and really it's good for them to know, even for the fire department, I have a child with a physical disability. So I know you had a situation where someone suggested that you flag your home.
And we do. We have our home flagged with the, emergency services here. And the way it was described to me is, if she would get out and someone would find her, say on the other side of the neighborhood, they can actually pull up that neighborhood and they can see that your house is flagged. So how effective that would be or not, I don't know. But again, it's one more thing that could add a little extra help in that situation.
Mm-hmm. And I think when your home is flagged, if they need to send someone, they make sure that they send someone with some training.
Yes, right. So we have that situation, especially for the mental illness component, mm-hmm. That there are officers that are trained to work with people with mental illness. And so we have our house flagged to send one of those officers.
Yeah. So that's something else that can be done. Social stories.
Mm-hmm.
Those are very effective for some kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And again, it's going to depend on the level of understanding, but just a little book with pictures of your child that tells a story that helps them to understand that they need to stay in the home or close to mom and dad or whatever it is.
You can do, when you're going to be out in places where there's a lot of people, which tends to be times where you can lose a child as well. So maybe not, mm-hmm. they're not getting out of your home, but you can do those tattoos, the rub-on tattoos. So if your child did get lost, at least they have something on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if we put a link to where you can get those tattoos.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's just like any little tattoo that you would get, but it's like your phone number and your information, and then it won't come off.
Yeah, and it's going to be at ellenstumble.com/episode 30, the number 30. So ellenstumble.com/episode 30.
And then if you don't want to order tattoos, the other thing I've just heard is use a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Sharpie on your kid.
Yes, and if you want it to last longer and you have those liquid Band-Aids, you can even do that on top so it just stays a little bit longer.
Yep.
And they have the, what did you call those bracelets with the information?
What were those called? Hold on. Yes, but there's a lot of different kinds, but I was looking for one specific kind. So bracelets that a child wears that will say, it'll have contact information on it, or it might say, I have autism, or I'll give you the name of it so that you can put it in the...
Alert Me bands.
Yeah, Alert Me band. That was it. That's just one. There's many, but that's one that kind of was going around for a while that I heard a lot about. And they've got cute designs and stuff. And I think they're made to be hard to get off. We don't have one, so I don't know enough about it, but something to look into, you know.
And teach kids stranger danger. I mean, no matter how young they are or their disability, you know, just to know, because I have a child who would be very trusting. So that's fear of elopement, that if somebody comes and it's nice and they said, hey, come to my house, she would say, okay.
Right.
So trying to teach that stranger danger is really important, which leads us to talk about going a GPS route and getting a device that is going to help you.
Aren't some communities offering that now, like police departments in some areas, aren't they?
Yes, there are some areas.
There's like a monthly fee.
Yes. And every month or so, they come and they make sure that the battery is charged, or they change the device so that it's charged.
I've heard about it, but I don't know a ton about it.
Yeah, I had a friend who had it, and that's what she did. She called her local police department, and she said, I have a child who elopes, and it is a monthly fee, and it's not an astronomical.
No, I remember it not being bad.
It's very affordable, and they are in charge of it. So if your child does go missing, it alerts the police department right away, but they can see exactly what the child is. And it's a bracelet that they cannot take off. So however they put it on, they can have it as a bracelet, or you can have it on their ankle. So you can use. And they're waterproof, so they shower with it. They do everything with it. So that is a really great choice for a lot of people. The downside is that as a parent, you don't have that access to the GPS the way the police department does.
Right. And not every area offers it.
So we lived in Wisconsin, and they had it in Wisconsin. I had a friend who used it in Wisconsin. She moved to Arizona. They don't have that in Arizona.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not available in every state, but it's worth looking into it. They have a child who elopes, looking directly through the police department to see if they have to have it. There's a name to it, and I'm going to I will link to that in the post. I will include it there. So why go a GPS route? I mean, because somebody would say, why would you go to that extent? One, if your child is gone, you know, they're usually connected to your phone, so you can see exactly where your kid is at.
Wouldn't that have been nice for you to have had 2 weeks ago?
Absolutely. I could have seen exactly what she is, and I would have gone straight to her without having to guess, where do I go?
The panic, the screaming, the neighbors, the 911, all could have been avoided. Yeah,
exactly. So there's a lot of choices, right? And we could spend 2 or 3 hours talking about every single choice. So we're just going to talk about 3, kind of the top 3. And honestly, we're talking about those because those are, it's either something that I've tried, so I know, or we know people who have tried them. So my favorite one, and this one I haven't tried, but after Scared, this is what I have my eyes on, and it's something that Erin and I had talked to you about, and it's called Angel Sense. And Angel Sense, it's a GPS device, right? But it does so much more. So I talked to a representative from Angel Sense, and this is what I like. It was created by a parent who had a child with autism, and they knew something was happening on the bus, but they didn't know what was happening on the bus. So this parent came up with a GPS tracker, but in a way that they could actually listen in to the surroundings of where their child was. So you have the mind of an actual parent who lives this life saying, what kind of device is helpful to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the majority of people who work there, they're parents who have kids with disabilities who are wanderers and elopers. So
Mm-hmm.
they know what's needed. So it's a lot more than just a GPS. It has a non-removable wearable. So you charge the device and you put it in. You know how you go to, let's say, to the mall and you buy clothing and they have those tags that you can't take off? So it's a device like that. So you put it on with their clothing, and the kid cannot take it off. Only the parent with the special key.
So it actually sits on the clothing.
It sits on the clothing, or they also have a little belt.
Okay.
So you can put it on the belt and you can take the belt off. And I did ask about sensory issues, and they said some kids don't struggle with it. The lady I talked to, she said her son uses the belt all the time, but he wears an undershirt and then the belt is on top.
Okay.
And it doesn't affect, they can't take it off like if they go to the bathroom. So that is not an issue. It stays on.
Okay.
Like you can't pull it, down or take it off.
Yeah.
So it has a non-removable wearable. You can listen in. So you have the ability to, at any time you want, to listen into what's happening. So if you
I'm kind of curious how schools would feel about that.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because they actually have the option that you can loop in the school, especially if you have a child who would wander out of school and that's an issue at school. You can actually have that as well.
You mean so that they can see where the child is too?
So they can.
No, I'm talking more about listening in. Like, I wonder how schools would feel about the ability for you to listen in on their classrooms during the day.
Right now I really don't care. I really like that feature about them.
I'm just curious because, that came to my mind.
Well, yeah, but don't you think that if the school has a problem with you listening in, it's going to be more because there's something they don't want you to listen in, and that should be a problem? And if they are afraid of any confidentiality information being shared, that information should never be shared around your child. So if you look at logistically, there should be no reason why you can't listen into your child's day.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you can. But
so is that the only GPS device that offers that feature as well?
That's the only one that I know of. There might be some other ones. And like I said, there's so many. I found a list with 15 of the top.
And is there a monthly fee for that?
Yes.
Okay.
So I will tell you what that is, but let me go through the other things. So you can listen in. They have a runner mode. So when you have a runner mode, that phone gives you updates. I mean, that device every 10 seconds. Because, in 10 seconds, a child can get really far. So it's not always on runner mode. So when you set it on runner mode, let's say you go to the mall or you're going to a park or anywhere where they could just bolt, you set it on that and it's constantly updating you so you know where your child is. They have a daily activity log. So it actually starts logging your child's routine. So you will get an alert and it will say, for example, if your child took the bus, it would say Nicole has left the school and is now entered the bus. Like that detail. And then it gives you an estimated time of arrival because, it's logged in that information. So it might say estimated time of arrival is, after the bus departs. So then you will get a ding saying the bus has departed the school. Estimated time of arrival, 12:57. So let's say it's 1 o'clock or 1:05 or 1:15 and they're not there when you knew the estimated time of arrival. You could call in school and say, hey, what happened? Where's the bus? So, that it can do that. Location updates, like I said, it will tell you where they're at. Notifications, your mobile or your email. It sends you Google pictures. So if you want to see where your child is, it will actually.
My goodness.
Yes. So because it can see where it is and they pull in the Google Maps. So when my daughter was gone, I could have said, let's say I didn't know the street. I can see where she is and I can pull a Google map and I can see what area where she's at. So you can see if it's, a main street, a busy street, or if they're in a residential area, or if they are at their friend's house, whatever, wherever your child could be. They have the school dashboard, like I said, to help school staff ensure that the child is safe during school hours. Mm-hmm. You know of kids who have taken off during school, and it's like 1 or 2 hours until they finally find the child, right? So the school can have that too. Now, they have two different options for Angel Sense. So one, you can listen in. They also have an option where you can actually talk to your child and your child can talk back to you. So it's kind of like you call them. So not only can you listen in, so for example, I could have said, Nicole, where are you? And she could have heard my voice and then she could have talked back to me.
So that's an extra thing you said?
Well, they have two different Angel Sense
Okay.
versions.
All right.
You know, there's the one they started with, and then they created a second one where you can talk to them. So the lady I talked to, she said her son is nonverbal. So although the son cannot talk back for her, she can talk for him. So she can actually say, help, please stop my child. I'm on the GPS. I know where she's at. I'm coming. Please don't let him move. So you can actually communicate with the people who are around. So again, for example, when I was there, it was another man who got to Nicole first.
Yeah.
So if, you know, let's say I hadn't been so close, if I'm talking to her and then I hear another adult asking her, hey, what's your name? Where are you going? Whatever, then you can actually communicate with those people.
You know, along with that, real quick, I'm just going to add that another good idea is to make sure your neighbors are aware that you have an eloper, because they will help keep an eye on them, and they will, if they see your child out with no one else, they will be on it rather than thinking, oh, that kid's out playing.
Yes, which I did that. Now my neighbors.
Well, yeah.
They have an alarm. So it's an alarm that you can actually blast, so you can hear it, so you can also follow the signs. So there's even a little bit more. They can connect to Wi-Fi. So if you're in a place that's kind of not very good reception for GPS, if there's Wi-Fi available, it connects to the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So then you can have that access. And they have the mobile hotspot. So you can, you know, again, you can use the hotspots. So that is Angel Sense, which it sounds pretty amazing. And the thing is that I've looked at reviews and it really is that amazing. And I know, like they have a testimony from a parent where their daughter with a disability was taken, and someone who wanted to hurt her and take advantage, and they were able to find her right away.
Wow.
And then they were able to arrest the perpetrator and then provide counseling and whatever was necessary. So it's a really great, you know, great device. You get email notifications at the end of the day, kind of giving you a, you know, this is the summary of the day. You can have unlimited users. You can actually have, if it needs to be alerted, you will email up to 10 people that you want to know that your child is missing. Like I said, real-time tracking, the listening. I love the listening. Up to 60 minutes a month, I think. So it's not like you can't just like listen all day long, you know, like
it's to listen when you need to listen.
It's to listen when you need to listen, exactly. And they have a great customer support, which I discovered just by saying, hey, we're going to talk about this on a podcast. So they really do. Now they do, you do have to pay for it. So most GPS, you know, systems, you have to pay for it. So you have to pay for the device, and then there is a monthly fee.
And that's the case for all of the ones you're talking about, right?
Yeah. No, just one of them is not.
Oh, okay.
The one that I'll talk about is not. But it's not a GPS. It's a Bluetooth.
Okay.
But we'll talk about that. So you buy the device, and if you commit to, you can do a yearly thing. And if you pay up front for the whole year, it's $33 a month, which is not cheap. I mean, really, when you think about it. If you pay like for the whole year up front, if you commit to a year, but you pay every month, then it's going to be $40 a month. And if you're someone who your child doesn't need it all the time, but maybe you're going to go on a vacation or you're going to go somewhere and you only need to pay as you go per month, then it's $45 a month.
Okay.
So those are the options. Now, something I asked her is, do waivers or grants, MA, pay for it, cover it? And they said that they're actually working to set that up. So right now, what they will do is that they will connect with your social worker or MA, and they will help fill out those forms. I don't know of any other service, you know, GPS tracking service that's willing to do that. And that's when I say it's parents of kids with disabilities behind this company.
Yeah.
So they know what we need. So
I get
although
it.
it seems overwhelming, they can help you navigate how to get it covered through MA or insurance. Of course, they can't guarantee you that.
Right, of course.
Their hope is as they grow, because they're only a 4-year company, as they grow, they hope to have a large database where when you contact them, they say, okay, where are you from? And they can tell you, these are all the things that could possibly cover this device for you. So they're getting there. Just so people know, they have a sale going on right now for 40% off. So if you buy the device, I think actually it's about 40. The device is $200 just to have the device, and then the monthly payments. So right now you can buy the device for only $99.
Okay.
And even the monthly payment, if you get it now, it gets locked in for the year for a certain percentage. So
good.
They have that. So that's Angel Sense. It's my favorite. And guess
I can see that.
I was talking to my social worker about it. Okay, the other one that I had that was suggested to me because I know someone who uses it. Unfortunately, this is only for Verizon wireless users, or you would have to set something up with Verizon. They have two different, it's like a watch. It's a Verizon watch. So they have what's called the Gizmo Pal 2. So it's cute, you know, it's set up for kids, and you can make calls to and from your child. So again, if you need, your child can actually choose to call you. So, you know, they have the call button. So if they push it, they can call you and they can talk to you. Or
so it's a watch, a phone on a watch.
It's kind of like a phone on a watch for only only for one person.
And then does it have GPS too?
It has GPS. So also if your child goes missing, you can look in their on your phone app where your child is. So you can find them and you can call them.
Okay.
So that's what it does. And that one is $80. But of course, Verizon is going to ask you for a 2-year contract.
Right.
If you have Verizon, you don't have to worry about. So I'm guessing that also goes into the monthly fees that they have for devices.
Probably. Yeah.
So, so that's one. And the other device that they have, then it's the Gizmo Gadget. And in this one, you can have up to 10 contacts. So it's not just, you know, mom, you can have mom, dad, grandma, aunt, you know, school, I mean, whatever other contacts you want to have. And then you also can locate your child in a map from your phone. They're both waterproof.
Okay.
So they're waterproof. So that's my friend who has used them, loves them. Her daughter she graduated from high school, so she's older. So, you know, for her, it's cool to have a watch, and she can call her mom. Now, that said, I have some parents who said they have older kids, and the kids do have their phone with them all the time. So you can have, you know, an app to locate the phone and call them and that. So the other one that we actually have used is called My Buddy Tag. And we got this because it was the most affordable for us at the time. It is not a GPS device. It is a Bluetooth device. So unfortunately, if your child gets lost, you cannot see where they are. But what it does is that it alerts you if your child gets away from you, and you can decide the perimeter of how far your child can get away from you. So once the distance is breached, you know, once they go too far, an alarm sounds, and it's really loud on your phone, and it's like a siren, the wee, wee, wee. And then, you know, I better look around because my child is somewhere around here. And they also have it for water safety. So even if your child was close to you, but you didn't know that there was, let's say you go to a lake, right? And you're not aware that maybe it deeps, you know, like it goes down really fast. So as soon as if your child is underwater or, you know, it gets wet, it alerts you as well. And it's waterproof, but it alerts you. So it's the water safety alert, lost child prevention. This is a preventative measure, right? More than anything. It's a really cute little wristband. we actually put a little chain, so it became like a little necklace, and she, she has worn it as a necklace. There is no monthly fee. There is no charging. And if your child was to be gone, you will get an email of their last seen location. The downside is that you probably know the last seen location because you're pretty close to them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only downside. And the reality is, if your child is at school, it's GPS, it's not GPS, it's Bluetooth. So that distance is probably too far, to have it.
Right.
Now, if the school was to have one, like if the school puts on kids when they go out to recess, then, like a school person would be notified, obviously, right away if a child went too far, and they could get to the kid right away. So this one is more of a preventative measure. We have it, we use it, but I think at this point we need a little bit more for us and for our family.
Yeah.
So I will have links to all of those. And I do want everybody to know that I wish that Angel Sends, that I could tell you that Angel Sends, they sent me one to try, but no. So I am not profiting from telling you how awesome Angel Sense is. I just want everybody to know they're just really a great product that I'm considering, I want to get for my child, and I want to share with people because of the features that it has. So.
Well, good. Okay. Thank you, Ellen. I don't know a whole lot about that kind of stuff. So I was like, this is all yours.
Yeah. After the many hours that I spent saying we need to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good. So are you going to take advantage of the discount and get the Angel Sense?
Yeah. And actually, and I have talked to my social worker about having a grant pay for it.
So in a future podcast, we need to do an update on that and see what you think once you have it.
Yes. What I think about it. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Great. And I would also say that if anyone has anything else that they've used successfully, like comment at ellenstumbo.com, or if you're on Facebook with Ellen or me and you see us post it on Facebook, make a comment, because there's a lot of great stuff out there. And so it helps parents when they have as many options as possible.
Yes. And the safety of our kids is first.
Of course.
That's the most important thing.
Of course.
For those parents who have had scary situations where their kid has wandered, there's nothing more terrifying as a parent than not knowing where your child is. And to then wonder, are they safe? Are they okay? Because you don't know.
As you learned all too well.
Yes. Oh, yes. Those are very, very scary moments.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yes.
And we will see you all next time.
Yes. In 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.